down, and she's got to be happy with the send-off we've given her. There was a great turnout yesterday afternoon at the first viewing, and an even better turnout last night. And here we are today, in spite of that long drive to the cemetery and in spite of the long drive back to here, which goes to show you people will do anything for a fish dinner, right? It's all about the fish, all that. Okay? It's all about the fish. My mother, all of you knew her. She was a very special lady. It was all about the family for her. She loved life. She loved to laugh. She loved to get dressed and make herself up. She would go to the hairdresser or have the hairdresser brought to her when she couldn't go on a regular basis. She loved jewelry. I inherited some of those qualities about loving life and loving family. I did not inherit her love of jewelry, but I hope to inherit some of her jewelry. So, sister, I'm putting you on notice. My mother was born 96 years ago, and she, the last few weeks we knew she was dying, and she had fought the good fight, and she was ready to go, and I kept saying, no, you can't go now. Christmas is coming, your birthday. You can't spoil our Christmas. It's all about the family. And I'd like to think she hung on to life and passed 5 days after her 96th birthday. I thought that was wonderful. She was born back in 1918, just as the First World War was ending. First World War, that was a long time ago, man. My goodness. And she lived to see many, many things happen in her life. She was born in a place called Catacalon, and I know you, Mr. Blacker, know Catacalon because cruise ships sail out of there. It's Pyrgos, Catacalon, Olympia.
Yeah.
Olympia, where are you from?
Pyrgos, yeah.
Pyrgos, Pyrioti, bravo. Καλωσόρισα σε παραδέχομαι. And there's Olympia, you know, where all us ancient Greeks raced and ran, and wrestled naked. You remember that concept? We used to do that, yes. So she left Catacalon, Pyrgos, with her family when she was very young, went to Athens, grew up there, met my father in 1942. She was did you see that picture of her outside when she was young? She was a babe. I mean, she had to fight them off with a stick. And my dad, I think he was smitten. He fell for her, and he won her over, and they got married in 1943. And exactly 50 years ago, in 1944, okay, it's 70, but who's counting? I came to life, and my sister followed 3 years later in 47. My mom and dad had a couple of 3 other kids, but things being what they were in Greece at the time, they did not live very long. But my sister and I are here to represent that family. I am moved because Father Philip today and Father Ted yesterday, they had some wonderful things to say about my mother, and they're all deserved. And my mom, my dad, they came to this country because they wanted to make sure that my sister and I have a better life. And that's what they did. My father came in 54. Hey, you Greeks over there, be quiet. We followed in Sula. Get control of that table. I'm telling you, okay? We followed in 56, my sister and I, and we were little, but they came here to give us a better life, and so it was. We had a better life, and Gina and Harry and Margaret and I were married in the early 70s. My wife and I have been together some 44 years now, and Gina got married a few years after 1970, before my dad, who passed away in 76, much too young, much too young. My mother outlived him by some 38 years. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it? But she was a tough old bird, and I remember a couple of things about her. When my dad died, it was like her world had come to an end. She wanted to die herself, but what happened was a beautiful thing. My sister and Harry had 2 boys, Bang Bang, in 78 and 79, and she started to live through them. What a wonderful thing that was. And she had a big hand in their upbringing, and also my own daughters, Nicole and Andrea. And so it went. She used to take trips. She enjoyed going on trips, and particularly back to her country, Greece. I remember one particular trip, she flew from here and she was going to Athens, of course, where her sister lived and all our other relatives, our cousins. And she was supposed to get there around this time, one day, and we were expecting a call. The call never came, and we frantically started searching and looking for her. Remember that, Jean? Margaret, you remember that? We couldn't find her. My Aunt Anna and all the other relatives in Athens, where is she, where is she? Well, lo and behold, the next day we get a call to tell us that she had missed a connecting flight in Rome, and they put her up in a hotel room in Rome, but she didn't want to call because she didn't want to worry us. Do you believe that? She didn't call because she didn't want to worry us. That was my mother. Another time, Jeff and John and I were talking the other day, and they had a trip to Cuba. Harry, Gina, and the boys, and a bunch of their friends, and they invited my mother along. Harry had this plan. We got the mother-in-law, θα κρατήσει τα παιδιά, εγώ και η γυναίκα μου θα πάμε έξω. My mother, she loved to be the center of attention, totally unlike other people, but she loved to be the center of attention, and she wanted to go drink and dance. So guess who ended up babysitting the boys most every night? Right there. My mother went with Harry and the other friends. That was my mother.
How about the hat and the glass?
Oh, you tell them.
When we went to Cuba, she was sitting by the beach with her shorts, big sunglasses, a big floppy hat, and red lipstick. And she was just lying out in the sun. And my husband comes and he says, "Who is that lady with the big hat and the red lipstick?" And she goes, "Stop, Luli." We're like this.
She used to love her son-in-law, and I think she loved him more than me. But that's okay, because they live together. My sister and I are orphans now, but she's going to feel it more than I, because she has lived with my mother all her life. All her life. All her 82 years she's lived with her. What? 82? Aphrodite can do the math. She can do the math. My mother...
She's younger than you, don't forget.
Aphrodite, are you going to heckle me? You're right. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding, and you know I'm kidding. But my mother loved life. She loved bright colors. That's why that reddish dress. Today, this morning when I was dressing, I put on a red shirt. And I live with some of these people, and they looked at me, red to a funeral, but that was her favorite color. So I toned it down a bit, and I got the splash of red here. Okay? All right.
She was happy. She was happy to see you.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. And
Remember when they sit at the table and they would be opposite each other?
oh, I crack wise sometimes at the table, and my mother would start laughing, and Harry would start laughing, and they're both laughing so hard, tears started pouring. They used to do that regularly. Uncle Louis sometimes, and Mina too. I've seen you cry when you're happy. Anyways, thank you for coming to honor my mother's memory. We have some wonderful memories of her, and her great-grandchildren are here. Here's a bunch of them. I want to name them for you because they love to hear their name. I'm going to start with the oldest guy right there. Christopher, come on, show yourself. Where are you? There's Christopher, and there's Fox, and what a wonderful job he did today. I'm very proud of him. Autumn, Sawyer, and Piper. These four are Nicole and Darren's kids, and I forget their names. There's Dee and Adriana.
It's Darius.
Darius. We call him Dee. Sorry, we shorten it. And there's Andrea, my favorite daughter. Well, here's the thing. She's my favorite daughter, but he's my favorite son-in-law, so I don't know. Anyways, Eonia Naine Nimi, Timanamu, eternal memory. Let's have her in our memories eternally. Brian, write that down. Okay, that's all I have to say. Enjoy your meal and the company.